Mr. Rude by Roger Hargreaves. Mr. Rude is rude. He is very rude. He is very, very rude. He is worse than very, very rude. He is extraordinary. He is extraordinary rude. Rude. When you meet somebody, you might think to yourself that that person has a large nose, but you wouldn't say anything to them, would you? Because that would be rude, wouldn't it? Well, Mr. Rude would just blurt it out, big nose. But he wouldn't stop there. Oh no, not Mr. Rude. Big nose with a nose like that. You could vacuum the floor. Can you imagine saying that to somebody? Well, I hope you can. And he was the same with everyone. If he met somebody overweight, he would shout, "Fatty, you supposed to take the food out of the fridge, not eat the fridge as well." When he was driving along in his car, he would yell rude things at the people he passed by. Mr. Rude was a horrible man who didn't have a nice thing to say to anyone, and not surprisingly, no one liked him. One day, Mr. Rude met little Miss Tiny, or not so much met, as nearly trod on her. Good morning, said little Miss Tiny. Look at the size of you. You exclaimed to Mr. Rude. Squirt, you're so tiny, I could squash you under my palm. Little Miss Tiny burst into tears and ran home. Behind the tree, on the other side of the lane, Mr. Happy looked anything but happy. He had heard everything. He had heard everything. The next morning, Mr. Happy was outside Mr. Rude's house, suitcase in hand. Mr. Happy knocked on Mr. Rude's front door. Go away, shouted Mr. Rude. Mr. Happy knocked again. Mr. Rude opened the door. Can't you read, said Mr. Rude, pointing to the doormat. Mr. Rude's doormat did not say welcome like everybody else's doormat. Mr. Rude had crossed out welcome, and then in large black letters had written "Go away" underneath. Mr. Happy smiled, but arched past Mr. Rude and went into the living room. Get out, shouted out to Mr. Rude. Mr. Happy smiled, uneven, larger smile, and sat down in the armchair. Mr. Rude exploded. He wanted enraged for half an hour, but Mr. Happy calmly sat through it all, smiling. Eventually, Mr. Rude went into his kitchen to make himself supper without offering any to Mr. Happy. After his supper, Mr. Rude rotted and raged for a full hour without whatever Mr. Rude called him. Mr. Happy took no notice. Finally, Mr. Rude turned out the lights and went upstairs without offering Mr. Happy a bed for night. When he came down in the morning, Mr. Happy was still there, still smiling. Okay, I give in, cried Mr. Rude. What do you want? Breakfast would be nice, said Mr. Happy. Please. Mr. Rude made breakfast for him. It was the first time in Mr. Rude's life that he had ever done anything for somebody else. In fact, it was the first time he had ever asked anybody what they wanted. Thank you, said Mr. Happy. When he had finished, right, you can go now, demanded Mr. Rude. But Mr. Happy did not budge. did not budge. Mr. Rude rotted and raged and rotted, but he ended up making lunch for Mr. Happy and supper. He even offered Mr. Happy a bed at night. Mr. Happy stayed for a fortnight. Slowly, the rotting and aging became less and less. Mr. Rude discovered he had something that he had never known. He possessed manners. When it was the time for Mr. Happy to leave, he shook Mr. Rude's hand and said, "Thank you so much, Mr. Rude. I really enjoyed my stay." Mr. Rude beamed. A smile was a bit as wide as Mr. Happy's, and found himself saying, "And so I did." Mr. Rude was a changed man. Perplexed, Mr. Rude, well, almost. The narration was by me, Sonic EXE. Don't forget to subscribe, and GG, weird chicken.